Hello and welcome to the second video, which is giving instructions for online renewals for the wholesale distributor license for the Maryland Board of Pharmacy. This video is a little bit longer than the last one, and it's been looking at specifically how to navigate through the pages of the renewal, how you can enter or change information, and where to make online payments. I will show you from the browser how exactly you'll do this. Again, we recommend that you use Internet Explorer for this. You can type this URL into your browser and go straight to the login page. Alternatively, you can go from the Maryland Board of Pharmacy homepage, as I will demonstrate now. From the Maryland Board of Pharmacy homepage, there's a link which says Online Renewal. You click on that, takes you to the login page. Now, the previous video already talked about how you can register a new user. I'm of course using a test case here. So I have my credentials entered, click login, click on renew license in the top left for renewals. As I mentioned in the last video also, if you do not see your license listed here, when you click the renewal link, you must contact the Board of Pharmacy immediately. In order to start the renewal process, click on the red continue link in the panel. Now if you notice over here, there's a checklist. These items correspond to the paper form. As you complete information on each page, it gets checked off. Please be very careful to read all the instructions on the page. As you go through your renewal, you have an opportunity to do that. I'm going to skip through this reading and assume that you will do that as you go on. Something very important to remember when you are renewing is that there's two ways to navigate the pages. You can actually get through the pages by clicking on these links, and that will be advisable once you finish the application if you need to go straight to a particular page. However, first time at least when you are going through, and if you actually ever want to save any of the information on the page, you should use the buttons at the bottom of the page, because these will save anything that you've entered. I'm going to click the continue button here, and I will very quickly run through each of these pages. The first is the applicant information. Bear in mind anything here that's grayed out can't be edited. Anything like, say for example, phone number, fax number, see when I click on that, it gives me the chance to edit it. That is doable here. In order to save any edits that I make, I click on this button here, the next step button. I was also asked to confirm by checking this box. So let's click on the next step button here. As you can see, type of business, this can be edited if necessary. Business information name, legal name can be edited rather. State of incorporation, date of incorporation. Now, you may be wondering how come this is already filled in. Yours will also hopefully be filled in already, because when you did your initial application, you provided this information to the board, and the board is now, or this system is actually now bringing back the information the board has. Notice over here, parent companies. There's two companies listed. I can't change these. I can't delete them. I can't edit them. Please read the note here that if there is a change, you must contact the Board of Pharmacy. You must submit a paper application and a written explanation. Now, in order to get that paper renewal application, click on this link here. As you can see, that opens up a new tab in Internet Explorer from which you can print this application and fill it in. We will do document uploads in the third video and concentrate specifically on that. So we're going to ignore that for now. Click the next step. Again, read the information. We have date of last inspection for non-Maryland distributors, accreditation program, controlled substance registration. This can all be edited, as you can see. Facility ownership. Now again, the board should have this information. What may happen, let's say for example, I wanted to change that from own to rent, but by accident I put in blank. That's required to be known by the board. If I try to submit that now, by clicking next step, look what happens. I get a message in red. You must answer the first two questions in the facility ownership description. And that will happen on various pages. If the board has required that you enter information, a message will come up if you didn't do something correctly. So let's put that down as rent. Okay. Now I'm going to click the next step button. If you do get another error, which doesn't look like this, you may just have to enter the information again and continue. That's always advisable. Sometimes the system doesn't like putting in duplicate values, and in order to prevent that, it clears the page. Let's just see what happens here. Okay, so that didn't happen that time. That's fine. I'm going to go back to the page to show you the other data grid. So first of all, we have physical data description. You have to enter that information. Here is if you have other state permits. Let's say I wanted to get rid of New Jersey. Well, I'd put in New Jersey instead of New Hampshire. I can change that. It doesn't save until you click the next step button or you click add another. Now I've got an extra row here. I want to get rid of that. Let's say I want to get rid of New Hampshire, and I want to put in New Jersey. This row for New Hampshire won't be deleted until either I click on add another or I go to the next page using next step. So let's see what happens when I go back there. Notice now that New Hampshire's gone. It's been deleted. Okay, the delete doesn't get rid of it immediately until you save the page. On the next step, now this is very important, your operating times. You have to be very careful with the format. I can't put in, for example, 8 AM and submit that. Operating times have been entered in the incorrect format below. So that means I have to put it in here. Also, don't put a leading 0. I'll get the same message now, watch. See? You also can't be open 24 hours and closed at the same time. If I do that and click next step, I'll get another message. So please be very careful when entering these times. Products distributed, import activities. Note that we request you use a semicolon to separate. Okay, for countries, for your list of countries. And obviously, as you're going through everything here, please read what it says about uploading documents, what you need to upload. Like I say, in the third video, the next video after this one, I'll talk about how you upload documents. This is ownership information. Okay, a separate sheet needs to be uploaded for this. Please make sure you read this. Corporate personnel. I already have some examples here. If I want to edit any of these, click on the edit link. And then to save that, click the update button. Now that cleared it, but if I go back to the original page, see now that name has been changed. If I want to add a new person, just click on add a person. You get that same blank page where you can enter the information. Note, by the way, whenever it comes to putting in phone numbers, you have to put in a certain format, no dashes. So let's try this one. Say I put in a number like this, 410 dash. If I try and save that, I get an error message. Now it's fine. 2 John Smiths. Let's edit that. Okay, remember I've made the edit by clicking on the edit link. When I update this, it's going to go blank. I can go back to the previous page by clicking on this link here, or the link at the bottom, and there you see the edit made. Click on next step. Questions have to be answered here regarding disciplinary action. And surety bond and insurance, these questions must be answered. Again, if you don't answer them, you'll get an error message. Notice that I took off, made that blank. I get the error message. Designated representative and immediate supervisor. In order to download a copy of the form, you can click on these links here. If I do click on that link, it opens up another tab where you can print this out, fill in information, scan it in and upload the document to this application, this renewal. Again, uploading documents we will cover in the next video. You also need the background check forms. Directions are given here. This page is a signature page. Whoever's filling out this online renewal will complete this. And here's your list of designees. This works the same way as we saw with the other state permits. If I want to get rid of something, I click on delete, and then next step will add another. Let's say I want to put in I don't know, notice that delete didn't get rid of this first person until I do this. And now it will be saved when I click the next step button. This page here says application checklist. The board has requested that you declare whether or not you are actually uploading a document or it's not applicable. You can't leave it blank. If you do, you'll get an error message. Notice that some of these you have no choice but to upload. List of products, ownership information, surety, bond, letter of credit, designated representative form, and evidence of liability insurance. All these have to be uploaded with this. These background check forms can either be uploaded or mailed to the board, but the declarations have to be made here. This is the final page. When you click next step, it takes you to the summary page. Now, to review your entries, I'd advise you can go through this over here, but remember to save anything, any changes that you made. Oh, whoops, I didn't put this in. Right, so now in order to save that, I'm going to click the button at the bottom. I can look back at that by going over here. Yeah, you see it's saved. It does mention also on this page, there's something called the preserved application. That was really a summary of everything that you've entered on one page PDF. If you go back in your documents list at the bottom, you see this, you have this document called preserved application. You can view it by clicking that there. You can't make changes by viewing the preserved app. You can only make changes on the actual pages of the browser, but not using the preserved app. Finally, to submit a payment, click on the Pay Fees button here. It will take you to a page where you can enter your information securely and submit it to the board. Thank you for watching this video. Please make sure you watch the third video, which gives you instructions on how to upload the important documents. Thank you.